Hey, good afternoon. Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is On Air with Russell of Hotels. It's Tuesday, so it has to be there, right? Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Happy Tuesday and happy, September. Is this the first? I guess it's the first. Well, I did it last week too, right? Yeah, I guess it was September last week as well. Anyway, once again, this is Tuesday, September 9th. It's 1 o'clock. It's On Air with Russell of Hotels. This is show number 312. Believe it or not, 312 shows. So this is the monologue first, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the monologue first, and then I'm going to do the intro, and then let's start the show. I'm trying to get back into how I used to do it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to my roots, like my grandmother used to say. Go back to your roots. So that's what I'm trying to do, right? To go back to where how I was doing it back in the day. All right. So, hey, gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. This is the monologue section, right? So I'm just trying to make sure everything is right. Okay. So make sure the sound is okay. Let me turn on the comments. Feel free to make comments. If you're on LinkedIn, you can make comments, but they just won't be in real time. If you're on YouTube, go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done that, Russell of Hotels, and just hit the subscribe, hit the button, bing, and then once you do that, anytime I go live, you get a notification, and that's what it's all about, right? Getting notification because I'm all about engagement and I want people to make comments and interaction, all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not one of those people that just want to talk and don't want to answer any questions or don't want to entertain anything else or anyone else. Oh no, I'm open. I'm open for all of that. So anytime I do one of these shows, I have a show called The Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels, which comes on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then I have this On Air with Russell of Hotels that comes on every Tuesday. So every time I do one of these shows, it never fails, right? I always showcase a hotel, a resort, somewhere that I've been, somewhere that I've experienced, somewhere that I have stayed. So today is no exception. The Miraval, Arizona, which is in Tucson, Arizona, 143 rooms, about, I want to say it's a little less than 2,000 square feet of meeting space. So it's not real big at all, right? So for that ideal retreat is like maybe 50 people or something like that. Oh my God. It's great for that. It's great for all that. It's kind of like Zen, like there's a spa there and everything. So you can walk around. I love the grounds. I love the water features and things like that around there. So it's kind of like, you can just be, you can just be with nature if you want to be. And this has that desert scenery. I grew up in the desert, right? So I didn't realize how beautiful the desert can be. Now that I'm removed from living there, you can actually see it now, right? I actually see it and have an appreciation for the beauty of the desert. Sometimes it's just as simple, just so simple, right? But you kind of take that for granted. So for all these years, I took the desert, living in the desert for granted, right? So now that I'm able to go back and look at it for what it is, I appreciate it, right? So the Miraval is in the desert. I'm not sure what the desert is in Tucson, Arizona, but it's beautiful, it's scenic, anyway. So anytime I do one of these shows, I'm going to showcase a hotel. So today happens to be the Miraval. So every time I change scenes, it'll be the Miraval, Arizona. And any questions at all, you can ask now and you can wait to the end of the show. My email will be there and you can get that information from there. Make sure you guys check out some of the stuff I've been doing. I mean, I've been doing this for the last probably month and a half now since I came back from Destination Southeast, where I was able, North Star, that's a North Star meeting group, okay? So I was able to have conversations. Some people will call them interviews. I call them conversations. So having conversations with people that were hospitality professionals. They could have been meeting planners or meeting professionals. They could have worked for DMOs, destination marketing organizations, or they could have worked for hotels, okay? So it was a opportunity for me to have conversations with them, talk about their brands and hence elevating their brands as well. Not just my brand, but their brand, the brand they represent, and the people I spoke with. So I've been going back and forth and doing these reels So if you've seen, like, they're little blurbs, they're like maybe 50 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe most of them are less than a minute. So check those out. I just posted another one with Mary Wheelwreck, and just great conversations, but you only get little snippets of it, right? So I'm teasing you until I release the entire thing, because I figured that who's gonna sit and watch a 15-minute conversation? Not many people will. There's some people that may, but not many people will. So I just want to capture. It's funny that I'm capturing more people with the 40 seconds to a minute, little blurbs than I would if it was like 15 minutes. Okay, so because everybody ain't got time for that, and I understand that, right? I don't have time for it either. So that's why I say, you know what? I don't want to watch it. So I'm going to post, quick little bite-sized pieces. That's gonna want. You're going to want more. Once you see the little bite-sized pieces that I've been putting out there, you're going to like, I want more. I want to hear more what Mary has to say. She said she helps people get their sass back. I'm like, what? Get your sass back? So I remember the conversation, right? When we're doing the conversation, but I had to go back and look at the reels. And when she said that, I'm like, I want to hear more. So just like people out there want to hear more anyway. So anyway, I'm getting away with myself here. I'm getting, I get long-winded in a minute. So anyway, I'm going to do the intro. We're going to come back. We're going to start the show. Don't worry, the show's not going to last that long. We have a topic today. In fact, if you want to know what the topic is, I'll give you a little hint. Go to russellofhotels.com, go to my blog, hit the blog button, bing, and what I'm going to talk about is there. The topic for today is there. It's all written out, so you'll be ahead of the game, right? It's just like getting the answers on that exam, right? That final exam, you get the answers ahead of time. Open book, this is what it is. Open book. I'm giving you the topic right now. So anyway, we'll be right back, and I'm gonna do the intro right now, and we'll be back. Who doesn't like that little jingle? Hey, once again, Russell of Hotels, Russell L. Edmond. This is On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's been talking about. They continue to talk about it. This is show number 312. Once again, today is Tuesday, September 9th. Appreciate you guys joining me for this, quick, probably 40 minutes or so, 40 minutes to an hour kind of show, depending on if people come on and they want to make comments, it can be longer, right? But anyway, we'll just keep it at about 40, 45 minutes. I think about that time, so we'll check it out. Once again, this is the Miraval, Arizona. They have a lot of water features here. So this is a water feature right here, waterfalls and, running water, streams, things like that. I love that kind of stuff. Desert, water, wind. I mean, can you beat it? Wildlife around there too. Every now and then you see coyotes and different types of wildlife run around, jackrabbits and all kind of stuff like that. So it's just kind of one of those things that's just like, wow, this is beautiful. I love it. I love it. So anyway, let's move forward. Ooh, almost dropped this thing. I mean, this happened to me the other day too. So I have my iPad over here. So it's kind of my partner in crime as well, my iPad. So all my notes are right there. It almost fell. So I had to grab it. I don't know if you saw me lunge for it, but that's what I did. So all the scenes that I changed will be of the Miraval, Arizona. This is one of the patios outside the restaurant. Just once again, that desert scenery. Oh, I just love it. Love it. So anyway, top 50 podcasts. Yeah, Russell or On Air with Russell of Hotels is one of those podcasts, right? People put you on these lists and you're like, oh, Russell's on the list. Like, yeah, I'm on the list, right? So I got to let people know, because I have to be, or you, if you have a brand, right, you represent a brand, you have to be the biggest advocate, right? No one's going to do it for you. Yeah, I have people that support me, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, people that watch the show. I do appreciate it. But it starts with you. You have to be the one that's out there shaking the pom poms. Okay, I mean, I just have to say it. I say it all the time. I'm saying it today. You got to be the one doing the rah rahs, the cheers, everything. You got to make people rally behind you because people don't know initially. They don't know what you're about. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know what you're talking about until you kind of build, I guess, some credibility. And hopefully, with being one of the top 50 podcasts in hospitality, I built some type of credibility. So once again, thank you so much to the International Hospitality Institute for this recognition, distinction, the honor, if you will. Dr. Jeffrey O, we appreciate everything that you do within this hospitality space, and I appreciate you for helping me be on that list. I appreciate that. So it's 49 other people that are on the list as well. So shout out to them. I can't name all 49, but I see Paula C. and I see Pablo Torres. I'll name those. What about Scott Eddy, and what about Sarah Dandishi? She's on there too. What about Glenn Hausman? What about Craig Sullivan? They're on there too. I believe Calvin Teloki is on there. What about the MJ of hotels, Bruce Jordan? So I just happen to name a couple people, okay? Just a couple people off my head that I know are on the list as well. So shout out to them and congratulations to them as well. So, but like I said, make sure you let people know what you do. Maybe you're on a list. Maybe you do a podcast. Only way people know that you do it is that someone has to tell them, right? Well, it starts with you. So, I mean, hopefully, I love that people tell, that I have a podcast and all that. I love that people inform other people that, I do have a podcast, but it all started with me, right? It started with me. So there you go. There you go. There you go. And this see, don't you just love this scene right here? This is from one of their suites. No, this is from the spa. I want to say this is from the entrance to the spa, so you can actually see the mountains, the palm trees, the Palo Verde trees in the background. How do I know those are Palo Verde trees? The ones that are green over on this side, that's a Palo Verde tree. Because I grew up in the Palo Verde Valley in Blythe, California, and those things are everywhere. So they're indigenous to the desert, to this part of the country. So Palo Verde tree, that's what it's called. Palo Verde translate into green stick. That's what it means. Palo Verde means green stick. Okay, so there you go. Little history, I had to break out some Espanol for you. Okay, you didn't think that was happening today, but it did. Okay, so that's what that means. Oh, that was a good one, boy. I'm on the road today, and they're going to keep coming. So the hits are going to keep on coming. So let's move on. So once again, all these scenes or all these photos are of the Miraval, Arizona. This is actually my guest room here, right? There's going to be another guest room I'm going to show later, but this is actually where I slept. A little patio, has 2 chairs on the balcony right there. Look, they gave me some bottled water right there. I have a little snack, I'm not sure what that was, but a card, welcome card and all that. So it was all good, right? It's all good. I love that hotel. Love the hotel. Can't wait to go back and hopefully bring a group there. Okay, so I was there doing a tour. Unfortunately, the client did not choose that particular hotel. They should have, because the hotel that they ended up choosing was a disaster. Okay, and I know that it would not, the same things that happened at that hotel would not happen at Miraval. I know it wouldn't. And if it did, they would take responsibility for it. Okay. So I don't want to go into it, but yeah, the hotel that they actually chose was a disaster. So, and of course, who would mention a disastrous hotel? I wouldn't. And even if, no, I don't do that anyway. So anyway, the blog. So go to my blog. I mentioned my blog earlier because any topics that I discuss will be on the blog, and just check out the entire website, right? So there may be something that may be of interest to you. It's a work in progress. I am working on some partnerships and things like that. Not affiliate, a lot of people do affiliates, right? I want to do partnerships. I think partnerships, there's more involvement from me to do a partnership, which is fine. I love that. But the affiliates, anyone could be an affiliate. Not everyone could be a partner, okay? I'm looking for a partnership so we can grow together, right? An affiliate, anyone can do it. Oh, here's my affiliate page. Okay, yeah, go to here. You know what? That's good for some people, and I'm not knocking anyone that loves to do the affiliate thing, but I'm trying to do some partnerships, okay? So that's what I've been working on. I've been working on for the last, I've been working on it for a while, but the last couple of weeks I've been concentrating on, you know, let me separate myself from, you know, people that are doing affiliates because I want to be a partner, okay? So what am I talking about? Well, you'll know once I get one of these partnership deals, then you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? But in the meantime, go and check out my website, russellofhotels.com, specifically the blog. Anytime I have a topic, it will be on the blog. But check out the entire website just to see, you know, the about page, who I am, who the company is, what I do, my press release is there, all kind of information that's kind of interesting that you may want to just check out. And you know, when I go to a new hotel, I post those things as well, specifically on the blog. So you know, I was in Panama, I was in Toledo, where else? West Palm Beach, Florida. I was there as well. So those photos should be on there as well. So just a lot of things that go on in the life of Russell of Hotels is on there, right? You know, soon there'll be some merch that you can buy there. You know, once again, I said it's a work in progress. You know, I do all this myself, so sometimes it takes time. Okay, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes time. Okay, so there you go. So this is the outside. This is kind of the entrance of Miraval. Yeah, so the shuttle will drop you off. And Miraval is like 40 minutes from the airport. So it's real remote. So no one is going to just happen by there. You have to have damn near security clearance to get in there, right? They have to expect you. You have to be expected in order to just arrive, right? You just can't just show up in there and they let you in because there's a gate that they have to open before you're allowed to come in. So it's different. Like say if I called an Uber to pick me up, I would have to let the front desk know, hey, I just called an Uber, and they have to, the Uber driver will call the front desk before they actually can enter the grounds, which is good, right? So security is great, and it's just one of those places that just, man, I love it. I just wish my client had chosen that hotel, but anyway, they didn't. Okay, why am I on that? Stop, Russell. Move on. So anyway, go to the blog, russellofhotels.com. Any information that's on there regarding topics will be there. Will be there. Once again, this is outside, outside the patio. Just a great place to be. If you just want to go and just be, right? You don't want to do anything. You don't want anybody, no hassle. You just want to just be. It's just one of those places you can just, you just be. So the topic for today is the first proposal wins the business. Why responding as soon as possible to leads matters. Okay, so the first proposal wins the business. How true is that? Not necessarily that true, but you'll get what I'm getting at when I start the topic, when I start going into the talking points, if you will. But anyway, before I get to that, this background right here, this is what I ate, right? So one thing about Miraval, whatever the rate you happen to be paying, everything is included. Food, drinks, everything's included. It's almost like being on and I hate to use this analogy because all cruise ships are not created equally, but it's kind of like being on a cruise ship. You know how you get on there and food and drinks are all part of whatever you paid, right? So it's kind of the same thing at Miraval, but without the cruise, without everybody in line trying to get the buffet, you know what I mean? But in fact, I don't know if there was a buffet. I think there was a buffet, but I ended up getting this a la carte. And what it is you guys know I don't eat meat, right? I'm a vegan, right? I have a plant-based diet. This is plant-based. This is actually scrambled tofu. It's not eggs. Some people are like, he eats scrambled eggs. He said no. This is scrambled tofu. That's what it is. And of course, you got the tortillas right there. Man, they got some salsa on the side. I was there make me a little burrito, a little taco. Oh, man, I was in. I said, can I get another order? That's what I did. Okay. I said, this is not enough. Can I get another one? Okay. And they said, of course you can. It's part of your rate. I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah. So no, food is included. Food and drinks are included at Miraval. So just that alone, you should be there, right? If I'd known that, I'd been there a long time ago, right? I didn't know that. So anyway, so I just wanted to show that, right? So just show you what I ate. It's like mushrooms in it, onions, the green onions. Oh my God, chives, stuff like that. It was some good eating there. And plenty of good eating. So I'll definitely say that. So once again, the question for the day, or the topic for the day, is the first proposal wins the business. Why responding as soon as possible to leads matters. Why does that matter, Russell? Why? You know, and I know this. Okay, so I do hotel site selection. Some people will call it, oh, you're a meeting planner. Well, no, I call what I do hotel site selection, because I'm not the meeting planner. I work for the meeting planner for the most part. Meeting planner would take care of all the, the meeting itself. I don't do that. So I'm an outside kind of contractor, if you will. So my job is to help them find the site based on their specifications. I'll put out the RFP, request for proposal. I'll receive all the proposals, right? So that's why I know the first one that gets back to me, not necessarily will win, but will get a lot of time. Meaning I'm reading it thoroughly. I'm reading the proposal thoroughly because they're the first one. Now, do I read all of them? If I'm receiving 10, if I'm supposed to receive 10 proposals, am I reading them as thoroughly as am I reading number 10 as thoroughly as I read number 1? Probably not. Okay, probably not. And a lot of meeting planners would tell you the same thing. So speed equals trust and credibility. Planners interpret a fast response as a sign of reliability. Delays create doubt. If you're slow now, will you be slow during the event? Okay, let me just ponder that for a second. So yeah, so if I'm sending out RFPs and I put a date, let's just say I'm doing it in CVent. A lot of people know what CVent is. Let's just say I'm doing it in CVent. And you can put a date, like I want a response date by this, right? By, if I send it out today, September 9th, I want it by the 11th. Let's just say I'll give them a couple days. I want it by the 11th. Do you think everyone, if I send it out to 10 hotels, do you think all 10 hotels are going to respond by that date? No, they don't. So the ones that get the most attention are the first ones that send it in. Now, we're looking at the rates, we're looking at all those things. But remember, every client is not based on rate. It's based on, will this hotel work for them? So it just depends. I mean, they're going to look at the rate, they're going to look at all these things. But if it's the first one for me and I'm receiving all the leads, okay, I'm getting all the proposals and I'm responding back to my client. I'm taking those proposals and I'm submitting them to my client. Now, if you're late, guess what? I don't have to send your proposal in. If you're number 10 and it's the 11th, the 10th hour of the 11th, 9/11, I'm not going to send it to you. I'm not going to send it to my client for the most part. So it does matter. Getting leads on time do matter. Now, when I was on property 100 years ago, no, it wasn't that long ago. I want to make sure, if I'm a director, director of sales and marketing, okay, I want to make sure my people are responding to leads within 24, by the end of the day, okay? So back in my day, when I was a sales manager, you had to respond to a lead by the end of your day. If that was 5 o'clock, it needed to be responded by 5. So if at 4 o'clock I got a lead, I needed to respond to it by 5 o'clock. So I have an hour to get it done. That's just how it was. And then when I became a director, I held on to the same thing. Make sure you respond to these leads by end of the day, business day, okay? Some hotels will say 24 hours. Well, 24 hours of business could be gone, okay? So, which is fine if that's the rules, if that's your regulations, if that's, how you're doing it at your hotel, that's fine. but I would say get it done as soon as possible. Okay. So speed equals trust and credibility. I'll read this again. Planners interpret a fast response as a sign of reliability. Delays create doubt. If you're slow now, will you be slow during the event? And remember, keep in mind, I let the client know all these things. They say, oh, well, this hotel seems to be okay. The rates are good. You know, they have this, they have that. Do you have anything that maybe you can see this as being a no? I said, well, they were the last ones to respond, you know, to my RFP. Oh, they were? You know, the client doesn't know that, right? So it's my job to let them know, like, hey, you know, there may not be any, it may not mean anything. I'm not sure. Everyone has a bad day, right? But it's my job to let the client know that, hey, they were a little tardy on their response. So just keep that in mind. Number 2, the psychology of momentum. The psychology of momentum. When planners send an RFP, request for proposal, they're ready to move. So if I'm sending an RFP, boom, 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 I'm ready to move. Let's move forward. Let's get this thing started. Let's get this party started. The first hotel to respond often sets the baseline, influencing how other proposals are viewed. Did I just say that? I said the first ones I'm going to pay a lot of attention to. The last ones, I'm just going to be looking at certain things. You know, is the rate so good that it makes me look at the rest of the proposal? Or do they have availability? Does that make me look at the rest of the proposal? Because every hotel may not have availability. Some hotels or some clients, they're rate conscious. So I'm going to look at the rates first. So if this client happens to be rate conscious, of course, I'm going to look at the rate and I'm going to weed them out. Either we're going to move forward or not, you know, based on the rate. So those are things that I'm going to look at. But if I'm sending you an RFP, more than likely the client is ready to move forward. Okay, so, and a lot of meeting planners can say the same thing. Okay, they can say that same thing. So the psychology of momentum, when planners send an RFP, they're ready to move. The first hotel to respond often sets the baseline, influencing how other proposals are viewed. Okay, so remember that. And number 3, lost opportunities are hard to measure. What does that mean? Every delayed response is a silent lost booking. I'll read that again. Every delayed response is a silent lost booking. You don't know if they even looked at it. Okay, do you? Maybe you. No, I don't think you know that. If it comes in late, I may not even look at it. And I only respond. This is what once the and this is on Cvent. Once a client has chosen a hotel, that's when I respond to everybody. That, you know, one site has already been selected. One hotel has been selected. I don't go back and forth individually. I may get emails and phone calls from individual hotels, but I let them know that I'm going to respond. When I respond, it's going to be via Cvent. So look out for the Cvent lead and I'll let you know. Other than the hotel that I've chosen, okay. Now, if there's certain things that the client is asking for from certain hotels, I'm going to call that hotel specifically and say, hey, Joe, you know, I'm responding to the RFP or the proposal that you sent. I need some clarification on this. Client is ready to move forward if you can provide this or if you can do that. Is this possible that you can do this or do that? And then we go from there, right? But if I never respond to you, what's the reason? I mean, you don't know unless you call me. It's like, hey, I noticed we sent you an email, you didn't respond. Well, you're the last one to send it in. It was due on the 11th. You sent it on the 12th. So just be conscious of that. And I know a lot of salespeople are conscious about it. They just think that maybe they have other things to worry about, or maybe they respond to these things all the time and they never get them. They never get the business. They never get a call back. They never get a response. And I understand all that, right? But if you have that attitude, maybe you shouldn't be in sales. I said that, right? Because every time you send out an RFP, every time you send out a proposal, does not mean you're going to get the business, okay? So what are you doing for you not to be getting business, okay? For you not to even be considered? Maybe it starts with getting the RFP there on time, okay? If they say it's on the 11th, have it in early on the 11th. I mean, there's no other way around it, right? So I'll read this again. Lost opportunities are hard to measure. Every delayed response is a silent loss booking. Competitors who rely first get rely. Competitors who reply first get the conversation, the follow-up questions, and often the signed agreement. So make sure you do that, right? You have to make sure you're in the game. If you don't respond on time, you're not going to be in the game. If you're the last one to respond, you're not going to be in the game. You're not going to be considered unless your rates are just crazy and your hotel is just wonderful and you've done some things to make me overlook that it took you forever to get me the damn proposal. Okay, so just keep all that stuff in mind, because I'm not the only one that goes through this and looks at this. There's other meeting planners, other meeting professionals, other hotel site selection people that use the same, they use the same theory as I do. We all get them through Cvent. Sometimes we get them, depending on how we send out the leads. I use Cvent. I go through my CVB. I go through my hotel partners. That's how I do it, right? So, and then we go from there. So there you go. Once again, what was it? The first proposal wins the business. That's not necessarily true, but the first proposal will get more time than the last proposal. Let's just say that. Okay, so don't be last. Regardless, don't be last to respond. Okay, to an RFP. Don't be the last one to respond. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Who's hiring? Who's hiring? So these jobs are in the greater Los Angeles area, because that's, I'm in California for the most part, and I go back and forth. But I'm in California, and these jobs are in Los Angeles. Okay, they're not in Toledo, Ohio. Okay, so no job that I'm going to mention is in Toledo. So the people that are watching from Toledo, these jobs are not for you unless you want to relocate to Los Angeles. So. So who's hiring? The Hilton Santa Monica. And I think this is a repeat from maybe last week, I think. Yeah, so they're still looking. They haven't hired anyone. So if you're interested in the Hilton in Santa Monica, who doesn't love Santa Monica? Near the beach? I mean, can you beat that? I don't think this hotel is on the beach, but it's near the beach, right? So, and I love just Santa Monica as a community. It's a great place to kind of hang out and just be, and maybe even to work, to be a director of sales and marketing. So that's what they're looking for. Hilton Santa Monica, looking for a director of sales and marketing. That job is on Indeed as well as hcareers.com. The Conrad, I love the Conrad. I think the Conrad is probably my favorite hotel downtown LA. I love that hotel. Right across from the Disney Concert Hall. Can't beat the location. And the court building. So if you need to be in court, stay at the Conrad. It's right across from there as well. So Conrad is in downtown Los Angeles. They're looking for a director of sales and marketing too. What's going on? I mean, there's a run on directors of sales and marketing. So Conrad, downtown LA, looking for a director of sales and marketing. Who wouldn't want to be a director of sales and marketing at that property? It's not an overly big property, but it's just nice. The location is good, and it's one of the newer hotels down there. The Hotel Queen Mary, okay, that it used to just be called the Queen Mary, okay? Now it's the Hotel Queen Mary. Ooh, la-ti-da. Ooh, okay. They're looking for a director of marketing, okay? So they just reopened, maybe it's been a couple years now. It's been at least a year and a half, 2 years, because they had been sold, and it was the building, or it's not even a building, excuse me, the ship was kind of run down at one time, right? But I haven't been back since they reopened it. But from what I understand, they have redone it. It looks so nice now. That's what I hear. Okay. Now they're looking for a director of marketing. So it's located in Long Beach, the LBC, right on the waterfront. As a destination, I love Long Beach. Long Beach is not as big as LA, which is good. They have a convention center. They have ample amount of hotel rooms for your conferences and conventions. And an option would be the Hotel Queen Mary, right, which is located on the water. So I think that location is pretty nice. Now, I'll have to go check out the Queen Mary again to see if it's been renovated like they say it is. I can't say that, but I can definitely say they probably do need some marketing there. So check it out. So once again, Hilton Santa Monica, they're looking for director of sales and marketing. Conrad, downtown Los Angeles, they're looking for a director of sales and marketing. And then the Hotel Queen Mary, they're looking for a director of marketing. So there you go. See, isn't that nice? Isn't that simple? Once again, this is a Miraval Hotel in Tucson, Arizona. Now these were the newer guest rooms, right? Now I didn't get a chance to sleep in this one. I showed you my room, right? But everything is nice there. It's very nice. I want to say they renovated back in was it 2016? So they're probably due for another refresh. But these rooms were pretty new for the most part. So this is on the new, I guess the newer side, I want to say. But yeah, everything is nice though. Everything is very nice. In fact, you can't even see that. I forgot to do this. Let me just do this real quick. Do 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 do. You couldn't see the font. The font or the color was light. You know, I changed. Sometimes I change clothes or change my shirt before I do these shows. So I'll do everything. I'll prep everything, and then I'll go and change and come back. And sometimes I have a light. Obviously, I have a lighter color, and the font was lighter. So anyway, so I just had to change it on the fly. See, that's what you can do with Ecamm Live. You can do things on the fly. You can change. So On Air with Russell of Hotels, the show that we're doing right now, that live hospitality talk show, this is live, right? Comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So today is show number 312. So 313 will be next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So PST. So there you go. So if you didn't like what I have to say today, well, hopefully you can come back next week, and you may not like what I have to say next week either. But I appreciate you guys tuning in anyway. So once again, this is the Miraval, Arizona. So just make sure you guys tune in anytime I go live, for the daily check-in, On Air, all the other stuff that I do. Just make sure you just tune in and check in, because you never know. It may be something that may interest you. You never know. Let's see. And we're almost, you know what? We're almost done. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Do you have to spend a lot of time doing it? No, you don't have to spend a lot of time. Just get the information out. And the comments and comments section is always open. So it's always about the engagement. So anytime I do one of these shows, you can always feel free to say something. Say, hey, what's going on? Good to hear from you. I hear you loud and clear. Or this show sucks. Whatever you want to say, you can say, right? Because you have that freedom here, right? It's all about the engagement. But if you don't want to say anything, that's fine too. So once again, this is the Miraval, Arizona, which is in Tucson, Arizona. 143 guest rooms, about little less than 2,000 square feet of meeting space. Just a place, like I said, just go and just relax. This is what I would do. This is me, okay? So if I just needed to get away from it all, right, I'm just going to go to Miraval and just chill, just relax, you know, just be, okay? You'll see me over there in the little stream, just, you know, playing in the water or something. That would be me, okay? I'll be walking across that bridge right there, and then you'll see me just sitting down, reading a book, playing in the water. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can do that, but that's what I would do, okay? Doesn't it look inviting that way? So no, a lot of walking trails around, and just like I said, just a great place to be, and you feel safe and secure there. And you'll see some wildlife. You definitely will see some wildlife. And you get that desert scenery, which I just love and I appreciate now. The mountains in the background, the Palo Verde trees, the palm trees, the Ocotillo, all that kind of stuff. See, I knew that, Ocotillo. I grew up around Ocotillo too. So anyway, any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Russell at russellofhotels.com. That is my email. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have. Or just go to the website, russellofhotels.com. The blog is there, my about section, what I do, who I am, all that stuff is there. And I mentioned earlier that, press release is there. All this information is there. So a lot of stuff that's there. It is a work in progress. And every now and then, you'll see some updates because I am working on some, and I mentioned earlier, some partnerships and things like that. So things will be forthcoming in the future. So don't be surprised if you see some stuff. Okay. Don't be surprised. But hey, I think that's about it. So any questions at all, like I said, feel free. You can go to my website. My phone number's there because people, you know what? You'll be amazed how many people actually will pick up the phone and call me. And it's all about that, right? However you want to get a hold of me, that's what I'm here for, right? Some people will like, well, no, I don't want you to call me. Well, then why'd you give out your website? Your phone number is on your website. No, I'm as accessible as anyone, right? Well, I'm probably more accessible than anyone. So feel free to reach out and call me. You can email me, but you can also call me as well. I'm on every social media platform: LinkedIn, YouTube, IG, Facebook, TikTok. So however you want to make comments or reach out to me, feel free to do that. There you go. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Being accessible, 100% accessible. Only thing I have to say is if you call me, and I get, you ever have friends that say, oh, they cool. They're from the East Coast or something. They're like, cool. No, it's call. It's call, not cool. Anyway, so feel free to call me. I lost my train of thought like that. I don't even know why I even said that. But no, feel free to call me. And people will call me and they'll ask questions, right? But they leave it on the voicemail, okay? So when you call me and your phone number is not in my phone, I'm not going to answer it, right? Because I think it's a whatever spam call or prank call or whatever, right? I'm not answering just any phone calls. So leave a message and then I will call you back. Then once I know who it is, I'm going to put your phone number in my phone. And that way, if you call me again, boom, oh, that's Joe Smith. I'm not answering. That guy's a jerk. I'm joking about that. Joe Smith is cool. I don't even know who Joe Smith is, but I'm sure he's a cool dude. But so yeah, just make sure you do leave a message the first time, and that way I know exactly who's calling me, and then I'll call you back. So that's how that'll work. So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much. So make sure you check out any of the conversations I've been having with people that I've met with or interviewed or had conversation with at the North Star events. Destination Southeast is one of them. I interview people and have conversation with people on my podcast as well, like on this show as well. So feel free to chime in, have questions, ask questions, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the engagement with me. And the more people engage, the more information gets out there. And I appreciate that, right? I appreciate people, support me on this journey to doing 311 podcasts. And, we're going to do more. We ain't stopping now. Ain't no stopping us now. So anyway, that is it. Did I tell you guys that I kind of moved my little studio area? So it's still in my kind of family room area. Some people call it what do they call it? A man den, or what do they call it? A man. What is it called? Oh, that's his man club, man den, man something. I can't think of man cave. That's what it's called. I don't know why I can think about it. But some people say, oh, that's the man cave, whatever. It's a family room, okay? So what I've done, but it happens to be downstairs, right? And it's the only thing that's down here other than the patio and the garage, right? So if you park your car in the garage or you come through the garage, you come through this family room and you go upstairs, right? So the house is different, okay? It's different. So not that I've taken over down here, but I'm the one that occupies this most of the time, right? So my office is down here and I needed more space to do this, right? Because I was doing everything in my office space. So I kind of moved it over because everything I do is I have to put it together, right? So I have a green screen in back of me. I have not a 6-foot table, probably about a 4.5-foot table that's in front of me. I have lights in front of me, right? So I put all this stuff together. It takes about 10 minutes to do. So I just moved it from where my working desk is to kind of in the middle of the room where is a lot more space. And I'm a lot more comfortable now because I have my iPad over here. I got a bottle of water right here, Propel. Hey, anybody want to sponsor me for a Propel sponsorship? There you go. So I got my camera in front of me, the lights in front of me, and like I said, and the green screen in back of me. So there's more space to do it. I feel more comfortable, more lively, and everything. I got elbow room. So yeah, so everything is good now. So once I actually did a little video of my behind the scenes. So go to IG Russell of Hotels and check out what it looks like behind the scenes of Russell of Hotels. So that is it. So you guys have a great day. We're at 44 minutes. So there you go. Perfect time. You guys have a great day. Happy Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. And remember, the daily check-in comes on tomorrow. So daily check-in, remember, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Air with Russell of Hotels comes on every Tuesday. That's it for now. Have a great day. And as always, peace.